Right, so we are back again having a look at Ethereum and Bitcoin and what is going to happen. I know there's a lot of people that are wondering what is happening to the market. Are we in a bull market? Are we, in a bear market? What is happening at this point? And I'm going to do my best to explain everything from my perspective and tell you what is happening at this point. But without further ado, this is not financial advice. Please make sure you do your own research. It's just entertainment. You need to make sure that you make your own research. All right. So yeah, it's just entertainment, guys. Now let's go on and actually have a look at Bitcoin. What basically happened is that Bitcoin is hitting a lot of resistance points. Now, right now, if you follow whoever you follow, is basically saying that Bitcoin looks really, really bearish. Now you could have that. It could have there's a few resistance line approximately at these levels, 42,000, and some are saying well, it could go something like this, hit it and drop down a little bit, and then it could just fly back up. And that would, of course, be a bullish case scenario. And there are a few that are saying, well, it could do it like this, and then come down, and then try to break it one more time, and then just start collapsing down, all the way down to approximately 25-ish levels. So what is going to happen? We do not know as of the moment, but what it looks like is a little bearish scenario for Bitcoin in the immediate short term. Now, you guys do know that I do my best to follow people that I respect, like DaVinci J15. I follow a lot of his material. And essentially what I asked him was, I asked him this. I said, look, is there a slight, even a slight possibility that we are in a bear market? And he was saying, nope, absolutely not. Because what I asked him was, look, in December, can we expect that, that the markets could recover in December? Because we could have a short-term bear market, from now all the way up to December. And basically he said, look, there's no way that this is the end. I asked him, what is the significance? He said, there's no significant, there's no chance. And when Da Vinci's told me before that there's no chance, then I'm pretty certain in what he says. So I choose to trust this guy that basically, told me about Ethereum. Actually, been talking about Ethereum quite a lot, but actually started setting his goal for Ethereum when it was, almost no price and no one wanted to buy it, right? So I think he did it around, maybe, I don't know, somewhere around here, right? And you can see it had a huge return on the 500% after that. So I started following him a bit here. So my point basically is this. I had another question to him where I said, look, how can you say that we could be in a small bear market, like, just a few, like a month or something, and then tell me that, well, we are going to hit, Ethereum is going to hit $10,000 in 1 year's time? Like, how can you tell me that? And he was essentially just saying, look, just because that, the price drops of Ethereum, which he basically says there's a possibility, because there's not a lot of resistance levels for Ethereum, that, look, it could drop so significantly. It could go, sorry, if I just open Ethereum up, see here, sorry, and this was the wrong one, of course. I'm a bit tired, my apologies. Of course, he didn't buy it right here. He bought Ethereum right here. And yeah, I was also thinking, so he, 1500 return. So I trust the guy. So apologies about that. But nevertheless, what he said is that, well, there is a possibility that we could go, and because there's not a lot of resistance at these levels, we could hit the 750, and then either we could just bounce back up and just keep going higher, or if this breaks, he said there's a slight possibility that we could go all the way down right here to the 500. But he said we are not going to stay there for a long time, because just because this is occurring in the short term, we are still going to bounce back a lot higher. And he says, yes, I absolutely certainly believe that we are going to hit $10,000. That's when he was like, dude, do not even worry about it. And I know everyone is scared at this point. Everyone is like, what is happening, and so on. I understand. I absolutely understand. Everyone is scared. Everyone is like wondering what is happening and what is going on, especially when you have so many influencers, right? just being very bearish, and that sucks a bit because it's like it's not about them being bearish and so on, but it's just about people changing their views so quickly. So for instance, if I just start looking at my front screen and you have a lot of why crypto keeps crashing, worst case scenario, Bitcoin's crypto zoom, you see a lot of these scenarios, right? And just a lot of people, they just start panicking and they just have no idea what's going to happen. And this is basically, there's a lot of people. I sold all my Tesla. This guy is selling all his crap. Now, this guy is pretty interesting. He keeps on buying more and more. Will Bitcoin rebound and so on? So, if you look at most influencers, whether that is Ivan on Tech and so on, a lot of them are pretty bearish. Well, even Crypto, he's talking about, well, look, I am bearish in the short term. Of course, for the longevity of Bitcoin, I'm not. But you may wonder, well, what is my thoughts at this point? What I do think, and based upon all the experts I've spoken to, is that at this point, I know it sounds, and don't be scared when I say this, I'm a little bearish. But I'm only bearish if you are trading or if you are doing anything where you were like, okay, you know what? I'm going to trade this and I'm going to long this all the way up here. I personally, I do believe that we are going to hit some type of resistance, bounce a little bit up, and then we are going to come down. I don't know how far. I think we are going to hit 750. I think that's way too much buying pressure here. I think many people are going to be doing that. Then what I do think is that approximately end of June, and possibly it's already the 12th, right? But I think start of July, I think we will start to get a little bit of the momentum because of the EIP 15509, I believe it's called, and I think that we are going to start to catch a lot of momentum at that point. One guy that I actually really do like is basically this guy right here. Let me just find him. So if we go twitter.com, you guys can find him. This guy is pretty cool, and I actually had some really good altcoin picks back and then. So yeah, you can see it called prophecy alerts and so on, and basically he said something right here where he said, why is the hodl altcoins? The next 6 months have monthly increases which significantly boost crypto friendships, Ethereum, EIP 1559 and L2 solutions. That's the one we talked about. Polkadot plus Kusama, Cardano, and the other small bullish undertone of Bitcoin adoption. So at this point, what I do believe is that yes, if you are just thinking, okay, let's get out of the market and this and that, then yeah, I definitely do believe that you have to really be cautious of what you're doing, because personally, I would say if you're holding and you've been holding for some time and it's gonna come down, just forget about it. It doesn't matter, because if you are following along our prices, we bought Ethereum approximately at these levels right here, at the $300 levels, and hopefully everyone has been taking a little bit of profit here, a little bit profit here, a little bit profit here, and a little bit profit here, and so on, and then maybe a little bit profit here. And that's what we talked about previously as well. If you haven't done that, it's not the end of the world. You just have to make sure that you just hodl on. And if it drops down to let's say, even worst case scenario, it's gonna drop down to 500. You have to understand that institutions are buying this absolutely insanely. They're buying Bitcoin and they are buying Ethereum in an insane manner. So I do believe that if it even comes down here, it's not gonna stay here for long. And what is long? I think maybe, let's say, it's a few days, or maybe even one day, and then it's just gonna bounce. Now the best scenario is that it does this quickly. The quicker it does this, it's gonna do an equal or faster move to the opposite direction. So if it drops down, boom, there's a huge scenario that it is going to fly up from there, because a lot of people are going to be scared and this and that. But these institutions, they're going to start picking up more and more and more of Ethereum. So without that said, what I do believe is that just stay strong, keep hodling, and I would actually use this time to look at a lot of altcoins. Actually, we saw right here with that post. I would just say, okay, you know what? Instead of you buying a lot of alts when it's super expensive, then right now is the perfect time to buy it. Look, I just saw this alpha project, and it's a really, really cool project. And you can basically see we are not even on the 61.8. Even if I dream of fibs from here, you can see it's just insane at this point. We are so cheap. This is a perfect buying opportunity. And what will the little old lady do? She'll start picking up some here, because at this point you should be able to generate approximately, even just gets back to its all-time top, approximately a 400% from here, right? So what I do believe is that the Bitcoin dominance is going to be dropping as well at some point, approximately July. That's why I do believe that the Bitcoin dominance is going to be dropping end of July. And I personally think that Ethereum could be flipping Bitcoin. I think there's a lot more, negative talk about Bitcoin in general, even though I do believe in the fundamentals of Bitcoin long term. But I do think that Ethereum will be flipping it. That's way too much attention on it, especially from retail and also a lot of huge corporations. Basically, with that said, guys, huddle on, stay strong. Not financial advice, of course, but just make sure that this is a reminder for you that it's okay to take a little bit of profit. It's okay to take a little bit of profit. It's okay to take a little bit of profit. Let's say you take 10%, 20%, 30%. Take a little bit. Maybe take out your initial investment. Do anything and take out a little bit profit along the way. If you're just going to ride up, we never know what the top is. A lot of people think that, okay, well, top could be, for Ethereum, for instance, $10,000. We don't know. We don't know. And if you're going to wait and say, hey, $10,000, I'm going to sell exactly. Can you imagine how many people are going to have sell orders on the 10,000? So let's say this was the 10,000, hypothetically. I know this is Bitcoin, right? It could go all the way up, and as soon as the 10,000 hit the 10,000, then it could just like come down, and then you'll be scared and, oh no, should I sell? Should I sell? Come back up. Maybe you're like, okay, it's going higher. Starting buying back. So you sell basically here, and you're like, oh, it's going higher again, and then it's going to hit approximately here. You buy, and then it's just gonna do a little bit, and you sell, and it's just a nightmare scenario, right? So as I said, guys, what I personally do believe, I think at the end we are still going to see, hold on for this, I still do believe that $10,000 for Ethereum is definitely possible. I'm sorry about the writing, it's a bit ugly, but I definitely do still think that 10,000 is absolutely possible. I think that, the fear and greed index is just getting lower and lower and lower. More people are getting scared. And the whale is just accumulating. The whales are just buying up. So without further ado, guys, make sure that you watch the next whole videos. I'll be buying and showing you how you can actually like even get coins like this. Let me give you an example today. Have you guys heard of Hex? Right, there's not a lot of data on it right here, but this is what we are going to cover. You can just see, man, it's just crushed. What happened to it today? That wasn't Hex. I believe it was Hex. Hex BTC. Hex ETH. Nevertheless, there's been a few coins. I don't know if it's even this one. Oh well. But there's been a few coins that actually have been doing doubles just over the last few days, even though everything seems red and so on. And we are going to do that, man. We're just going to be trading, and we're just going to be stacking more and more and more profit. If you want to take that profit and do it into BTC, which I am doing myself, then you can do it. And if you instead want to do it in USDT, be my guest. Alright, guys, without further ado, I'm going to get next on to the next video, and where we are going to be buying a bunch of coins. Alright, man. Peace out.